Everybody, and a happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't been here before, my name is Rachel Phillips. I am one of the health coaches here at Incenta Health. We do a weekly wellness chat every Wednesday, same time, same place. Hopefully this gives you a nice little respite for your week. Oh, did somebody take themselves off mute? Okay. And I do apologize. I am still working from home and I have two cats that like to make an entrance. So if you see them, I will get them out of the way as quickly as possible. But just a heads up. I like to start these with a nice little icebreaker, get acquainted with each other. So feel free to take yourself off mute or put it in the chat. And let's go with what is one way that you practice wellness over the long weekend? One way that you practice wellness.
So this is Jerry, and I went for a walk, even though it was raining, and I did watch some movies just for a little stress reliever.
Oh, good. Wonderful. Hopefully you didn't get too wet in the rain.
It was worth it.
Good. Belinda said she went to the gym. Lisa said that she relaxed at the cabin in front of the fire. Lisa, I am jealous. Priscilla said that she got a gym membership. Awesome. And you've been attending every other day. Wonderful. I'm glad that folks are able to use the gyms again. I know for me, it was a long year without access to them. Anybody else want to share how they practice wellness this weekend? I got out on Saturday, went to the zoo with my family, so got some vitamin D and some walking in. And the zoo's like one of my favorite places to be, so. Well, wonderful. Like always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns as we move through the sides, feel free to take yourself off mute or put your comments in the chat. I love to hear from you all, etc., etc. So this week, we're talking about diet versus lifestyle change. I know a lot of folks are good at the yo-yo dieting where they try this fad and then it works for maybe a little bit and then you get over it. So you try a different fad and your weight goes up and down. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that is versus a lifestyle change that tends to be a little bit more sustainable and we tend to see longer term results. We're going to take a step back. Patricia says that she stayed in Golden, which is just outside of Denver, had some very yummy Brussels sprouts, and then watched HBO due to the rain, of course. Patricia, did you get to watch the Friends special? That's on my list.
I did, and I loved it.
Oh, good. I think I'm watching it next week with a girlfriend, so that's good to know.
Oh, yes, I loved it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, gives me something to look forward to. Okay, so let's start with what is dieting, and then we're going to talk about what is a lifestyle change. So dieting at the very, at least for purposes of this conversation, we're going to use the definition of restricting calories or entire food groups for the intent of losing weight quickly. So this could be like adopting a keto diet or an Atkins diet, the Whole30. Not saying that there's anything innately bad with those eating patterns, but dieting is taking on those restrictions for the sole intent of losing weight. And the biggest metric that we have if we're being successful with a diet is the number on the scale. Dieting also tends to be short-lived. Most people only diet for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then they either get tired of it and they do this cycle where they binge, because I haven't been able to have these processed carbs for a few weeks. So now I'm going to binge because I really want that donut. And that's what causes this yo-yo cycle. So we clean up our eating for a little bit. We see dramatic weight loss. So we're like, oh, great, cool. I saw the weight loss. We stop eating in that same way, and then our weight goes right back up. And that weight gain is common. We tend, as humans, we tend to actually gain a little bit more than we lost. And science actually shows us that in order to have sustained weight loss, so meaning that it's in 6 months and a year, you've kept that weight off. Science tells us that we need to incorporate habits that we can sustain, habits that we enjoy doing. So that is what we're going to call lifestyle change. So making health and well-being part of your lifestyle. We're going to talk specifically about food and activity. We're not going to talk about all of the other things that we can do to take care of ourselves, like, you know, drinking plenty of water, wearing sunscreen, practicing boundaries, and taking care of our mental health. We're not going to talk about those this week. Lifestyle change allows for flexibility, and it doesn't tend to restrict whole foods or whole food groups. This is not saying if you have a food sensitivity and you restrict it, I'm sorry for the kitten paws. And if you restrict it because of a food sensitivity, that's completely different. For me, for example, I'm a little bit gluten sensitive, meaning it doesn't make me feel very good. So I try to stay away from it. But I still allow the flexibility if I wanted to eat gluten. This lifestyle change too allows us to have like that celebratory dinner or dessert or that glass of wine. And we don't tend to binge afterwards. If we plan for it, if we know that one meal is not going to make or break us, right? It didn't take one meal for us to get to a place that we're at. It's not going to take one meal for us to get to a different place. And that's really what the lifestyle change is. You've ever heard of that 80-20 rule, that we eat really well 80% of the time, then 20% of the time we let life happen? That's kind of what we're talking about with a lifestyle change. We can measure success with a lifestyle change based off of more than just the number on the scale. Can be our happiness and how we're feeling about our life. If we're able to go out and eat and enjoy a night out with our friends, our family, we don't feel that guilt for eating, you know, that piece of birthday cake or that extra glass of wine. Also, like the way that our clothes fit, when we start to get a little bit more active and eat a little bit more intentionally, our body composition changes. The number on the scale might stay the same, but we might tuck in a little bit in some places and fill out in others. So how our clothes fit is a really good metric of success. I think too, for this one, and kind of teetering on that mental health component, when food no longer controls your day, that's a really good metric of success too. We, even though we plan our food and we might be really excited for that dinner that we have, we're not always concerned about the calories that we're eating, or, you know, oh, I ate that piece of chocolate cake, so now I can't eat tomorrow. We're not that obsessive with a lifestyle change and implementing healthful habits. And then with a lifestyle change, with that activity piece, we celebrate more of what the body can do rather than a punishment for either what we ate or what we didn't eat, etc., etc. Any questions on that so far? What diet versus lifestyle changes? Perfect. So now what? We know the difference. We know what a diet is, and a lot of us we're in that mentality, that diet mentality. So how do we get to that lifestyle change? So a couple pieces here. Studies do show us that sustained weight loss is based off of sustainable lifestyle habits, both with how we eat and how we move our bodies. So if you're thinking, oh, I can drop 10 pounds by the end of the month if I just cut out all processed carbs, but how likely are you to cut out processed carbs for the rest of your life? So finding that middle ground is really what that sustainability looks like. Same thing with exercise habits. You're probably going to wear yourself out. If you're not an athlete, you're probably going to wear yourself out if you are pounding the pavement every day at the gym or on your run. We need to have a little bit of that rest built in, or that active rest. So doing yoga or walking, just getting moving in a different way. That flexibility in that lifestyle means less stress. We don't have to focus so much on what we're eating and what we're doing and how we're moving, but we get to say, oh, instead of today I had a heavy lift day, but one of my friends asked me to go walk at the park with her. There's less stress there. We don't have to beat ourselves up, etc., etc. So how do we do this? How do we make these lifestyle changes? Number one is to be slow and steady. You didn't build your habits overnight. You're not going to break them overnight either. And there's a lot of grace that we need to give ourselves in that. Part of the human connection is that none of us are perfect. None of us can eat the right way or hit all of our goals perfectly. We can't. That's part of the human condition. So allowing yourself to say, this is my goal and I'm okay with it if I hit 90%. 100% is just really hard. Another tip and trick to be successful in creating these lifestyle changes is to do one lifestyle change at a time. So if you're like, I want to stop drinking soda and I want to eat more fruits and vegetables, and I also need to exercise more, but I should also be journaling and not watching TV as much. Like, that's a lot to do all at once. So pick one of those, get really good at it, and then implement the next one. We tend to be, the way our brains work, we can only funnel in so many things at once and expect an output. So just funnel one thing into that change category and you'll get the output. Rather than trying to squeeze a whole lot in, you're not going to get a whole lot out. Probably going to burn yourself out and be a little bit frustrated if you were to do that. Another so what is asking yourself of, so what is your intention? What is your why behind dieting, behind losing weight, et cetera, and really getting at that root cause. For a lot of us, the wanting to lose weight is a symptom of something else. So digging in and saying, I want to lose weight and diet. Is it to feel better in your own skin? Is it to feel better on the inside? Is it to fit into a certain size? And really have that conversation with yourself of why you are doing what you're doing, and what the what is behind it, and see if that's something that resonates with you. If you're like 6 foot tall and 180 pounds, you're probably never going to be a size 0. So you're going to disappoint yourself over and over again. So setting realistic expectations of yourself too is important. And that way we don't have to beat ourselves up if we don't get to the finish line. We know where our finish line is. And that way we can support ourselves and have that support system around us to reach our goals. Any questions off of that, my friends? Questions, comments, concerns? Oh, well, that was easy this week. So upcoming topics for the month of July. June is both Family Health and Fitness Month as well as Men's Health Month. So for that June 16th day, please invite the men in your life to come. We're going to talk a little bit about men's health. June 23rd, still to be determined. So if there is a topic that you would love to see us research for you, feel free to send that on over. And then the end of the month, of course, is that health coach Q&A. So send us your questions, comments, and concerns. We will get those answered. If by chance you've missed a week or you would like to rewatch a week, feel free to go over to incentihealth.com/wellness chats. All of our recordings are there. Feel free to share those with colleagues, friends, family, etc., etc. As always, we have health coaches available to connect with you to work through any of those sticky spots that you might have in your wellness journey. You can email us, call us, or chat with us in-app or on the website. We have somebody manning those phones Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Do we have any final questions, comments, etc.? I know today was a little bit shorter than I was expecting, so I'm going to give you back 14 minutes of your day.